Hello everyone, my name is Noah Raven and welcome to the Xander Zone, and in this episode we're going over part 2 of the FNAF timeline, which includes everything from FNAF 1, 2, 3, Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, and I was going to do Ultimate Custom Night, but I'm actually going to leave that out as I feel like it'll be better for the next part. So, if you haven't watched part 1, I strongly recommend watching it as it kind of gives the basis as to like why and how everything is happening, and as this is kind of where things start to get a little weird and a little spooky. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, as a quick reminder, in the last episode, we finished off with Elizabeth Afton was scooped into the baby's stomach and passed away as a result, as well as the Mimic being out on its own and no one being able to find Henry or the Mimic. So, we're going to go to the after side of things. So, with Elizabeth, so we're going to leave off with that right now. So, Elizabeth Afton passed away and William couldn't handle the depression and the anger anymore. So William left, saying that he was going on a business trip, and left a note when he left. Though Michael wasn't at home when this took place, it was normal for both of his parents to be gone for a few days, though typically they'd be back by the end of the week or the start of the next week, just like the note said. And William did return back home one night and then had to leave again to attend more business meetings. Though William said he should be back soon never came. And as a result, Michael's mom left to go find him. Michael knew that if anything happened to where no one came home after a long time, to go behind this cabinet inside of William's office, so he did just that. He went behind the cabinet expecting something like a phone number or somewhere to go or a safe deposit box, just really something that you would expect if there were to be an emergency. Rather, he found a door with a note on it. The note said to find your sister and fix her. She's down there somewhere. He opened the door and he found an elevator with no really clear direction. He entered the elevator. Michael went down into this weird basement-like place to find a place where he was instructed by this machine called the hand unit. Instructed him on how to take care of the animatronics and how to make sure that they were all in line. During this night, he saw Ballora, Funtime Foxy, and Baby, and everything was fine. So he was told that shift was over and to go back upstairs and relax. So he did just that, though he went back the next night. This night was a little weirder, and he would hear stories from the baby animatronic that sounded eerily close to how his sister passed away. This all built up, getting more weirder, more creepier, until his last night inside of the place. He listened to Baby, as Baby had guided him throughout all of his adventures in the strange place. Baby was really the only friendly character in this whole entire area. And while listening, Baby led Michael into a place called the Scooper Room, a place designed to destroy the animatronics, and another secret reason I'll tell in just a second. In this Scooper Room, all the animatronics he helped destroy just a few nights ago were merged together. Funtime Freddy, Ballora, Funtime Foxy, and Baby were all in this one creation that they called Entered. Baby seemed to control it, and after reassuring Michael that the Scooper will hurt for just a moment, he was scooped. He was unalived almost instantly. It was later used as well, a skin suit for them to walk around amongst humans. Now that we've explained Michael's side of the beginning of the Afton era, let's go to what William was doing before we go forward, as this is going to be really important going forward. So, William did go to a business meeting the first time, and when he did come back, he went into the basement. When he did, he noticed something with the baby animatronic. Her eyes were green when they were blue before, and it seemed alive, like there was an actual human inside of it. But it was those green eyes. Green was the color of Elizabeth's eyes. This made him wonder, can someone live on inside of a robot, or is he just imagining things? I mean, this could make him put everything back together again. This could be the key to bringing back his daughter and son. Though, he needed proof. So what did he do? He left to go find the proof that he needed. William went to a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria that was near where he lived. And this was one of the millions of locations that were open without the permission of William or Henry, but it was under the name of Fazbear Entertainment, as when they both left, they gave the rights to Fazbear Entertainment. William went there and was instantly recognized. He was allowed into the back area and saw something amazing. It was his old spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's Family Diner, and he had an idea. When he left that day, he made sure that there was a way for him to get back in every single time he went there. He lured 5 kids into this back room area under the name and look of Spring Bonnie by either promising them something, doing something to something they loved and convinced them to follow him, or just flat out forced them. He unalived them all and stuffed them into the old animatronic suit from Fredbear's Family Diner. The old Chica, Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, and fifth one. The fifth one he put inside of Golden Freddy, who was once known as Fredbear. That suit will now hold the child that he hurt the most, that he went too far with. With this tragedy happening, and with no way to say who did it, the restaurant shut down for a long time, from 1985 to 1987, with William getting away with all of his crimes, though William will return one day to see how the animatronics are doing. So now that we've wrapped up what William was doing during this time, let's go back to Michael. So, Michael had this robot amalgamation inside of him for about a week after he was scooped in 1985 or 1986. The exact time or year isn't really 100% sure. But during the time, Ennard was inside of Michael, and Michael slowly rotted, slowly turning purple, and frankly started to smell really bad. So, with people starting to wonder what was wrong with Michael, Ennard left, going into a sewer grate never to be seen again. Michael now laying on the ground, his lifeless body just there. He's got up. Michael was alive, and he didn't know how, though he did know one thing. Whatever his father was doing, he was going to find out exactly what it was to stop it, and hopefully find his father in the process. While searching for his father and any clue as to what the next idea or plan his father had, Michael heard about the crime that his father had committed in the newspaper. He thought that whoever did this must have been his father or someone he was working with for whatever plan his father or someone had. So he decided to get a job as a night guard at this location, specifically in 1987 once it reopened. Though, it wasn't going to be open for long, as it had to close its doors soon as a result of the incident. Michael started on the day before the last day the location would have its doors open. During that night, the animatronics, specifically the withered ones, were acting up, charging down the hall almost every second it felt like. So wondering why the animatronics are so aggressive towards him, he tampered with them. They smelled terrible, as if something was rotting inside of them. What he found confirmed his suspicions. His father or someone hid the bodies inside of the suits, and Michael found them. And since he knew that life can exist inside of these suits, he knew that the children's souls, spirits, or remnants were inside of these suits. Now knowing this, he tried to help them, but only damaged the suits. He left defeated, and was promptly fired for his terrible body odor, and for tampering with the animatronics. Okay, so before I continue, I should talk about the toy animatronics. The toy animatronics are not possessed, though there are a few things I should mention. All of the animatronics in this location were the wizards and the toy versions of them, Balloon Boy and the puppet. So on screen, I'm going to take away the ones that aren't possessed. And now we of course have the 5 that had some stuffed in the suits, which are the wizards, the puppet who is Charlie. Though, what about the other animatronics like Toy Freddy or Toy Chica? Well, these suits were filled with like a face scan and a criminal database, and William was on that database. And since Michael looked a lot like William, they tried to attack Michael as a result. So that kind of explains like why they were also aggressive towards Michael. Now being fired and the location shutting down, Michael had to look for another place that could have William nearby. One day near 1993, Michael saw an ad in the newspaper for Freddy Fazbear's that used the original suits that he tampered with at the old Freddy place. Though this place was now closed down, they needed someone to watch over the animatronics of property someone would break in and steal. Michael took the job and watched to see if the children have moved on yet. Though, he would find out that they haven't. Every night they would get more and more aggressive, attacking more and more, and Michael didn't know why they wanted to attack him, as he tried to help them before. So he tried to do the same thing he did years ago, tamper with the animatronics to save them, though the same thing happened as before. He ended up damaging them more, and was fired for tampering and his odor. Now let's get back to William, as this is where he plays a pretty big role starting at this closed down location that Michael worked at. So, William did say he would be back to check up on the robots eventually, though the shutdown and lockdown of the restaurant the incident took place at put a wrench in those plans, though he was now able to check on them. William started going after Michael's time at this location, and every night he noticed that they were indeed alive. The children possessed the suits, so to test further, every night he would lure one of them away and dismantle them. Though little did he know that in doing this, he was releasing their souls. So on the last day he had there, the spirits cornered him, scaring him so much and him not knowing what to do. He went to his original spring bodysuit that was in the back room they were currently in. It seemed to have worked. They aren't going towards him or attacking him anymore. He laughed and laughed, until his laughter and the water leaking down from the old building landed in the suit, locking it shut. William suffered a spring lock failure. All the metal pushed into him at once, piercing his skin, bones, and more. He suffered a long and painful passing. Now, before I continue, I'm also going to quickly mention that William's body was not found for 30 years, and he was locked inside of this back room for 30 years. So, yeah, let's continue. One day, though, Henry did come back to Fazbear Entertainment and took his rightful spot as co-owner of all the businesses that were currently running. He wanted all the old stuff from the restaurants back in one place as like a horror attraction. So he did what anyone else would do and sent people out to retrieve everything and to contact him with anything that is a big deal, such as animatronics. They found one operational one at this closed down restaurant. It was an old yellow Bonnie suit, so they called Henry, and Henry went as fast as he could. He went to this location and saw a suit and instantly told him that this is the suit he has personally been looking for and wants in the location they're going to be building. Before I continue, I want to get to Michael. Michael did what he always does during this 30-year period, though he found a job at this horror attraction that Henry was building. So Michael thought that if everything is going to be there, his father must be there too. So he got a job as a guard, as well as a part of the attraction, as he would be seen in the building at the end. The first night, nothing eventful happened, though the suit that held his father just arrived the day after. Once Michael saw this old suit, he knew what was inside of it right away. He knew that, of course, was inside of it, but not just any. It was his dad's. He finally found him, but not in the way he thought he would. The suit started to move, and every night it would get more and more aggressive. Michael started hallucinating every night he spent there, seeing old, burnt versions of the animatronics he tampered with. Freddy, Mangle, Chica, all of them. On the last night, he locked the place down and burned it all to the ground. Michael escaped, and so did something else with him. A few years later, Michael still wasn't done, and neither was Henry. Henry, now knowing of everything, that Michael is still out there, that William may still be out there, that Ennard exists, Henry made a new location and passed the keys to a new franchisee. Though this franchisee would have to check the back alleyway after every shift. This new franchisee was Michael. Michael checked the back alleyway every night. The first he found Ennard, now known as Molten Freddy. The second night, he found a black bear. Weird, though it has stripes as its endoskeleton. It's the puppet captured by this black bear named Lefty. The next night he found his father, William. Then he found one more the next night, his sister, baby but with new parts and scraps. Last night, it was time for Henry to enact his plan, to burn the whole place down and everything in it. Though, I'm just gonna let this play because it's an absolute masterpiece.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms. the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
After this place burned down, all the souls were released, everyone was free, and there's no more Afton, no more Henry, nothing. Peace was brought to the children, to Elizabeth, Henry, Michael, Charlie, to everyone. This concludes the Afton era. So this is the end of part 2, but I wanted to get some things out of the way. While making the script, I thought of something I could do. With this location, and specifically FNAF 1, there's a lot to be confused with, because specifically, all the animatronics in this location are obviously possessed, but it's hard to fit this location for before William dies, and after the crying child's passing, and Elizabeth's passing. So, for this theory, I'm leaving that up to you guys. This location takes place before FNAF 1. What I specifically think happens is that the kids that were unalived by the Funtime animatronics possessed the animatronics. Though, if it happened after, it would have been William's experiments. To continue with the things that are left out, where's the mimic? Well, that will be elaborated on in the next episode, as well as UCN or Ultimate Custom Night felt better to talk about in the last part, which is the copycat era, and the title's still pending. The title will be better, I promise. And then what about FNAF 4? Well, I feel like FNAF 4 isn't that important, and rather was something I mentioned in the last part with the illusion disc and torment of Michael. And just to make sure everyone understands what I mean by it was important, I feel like the gameplay wasn't important. The story of it was, but the gameplay, I don't think it really meant too much. But yeah, if you have any questions, theories, or really anything, please put them in the comments below. Every question I get will be answered in a Q&A video if I get enough of them. Otherwise, I'll reply to them myself in the comments below. And while you're at that, hit that subscribe button. We're only 19 away from 200 subscribers, and I would love to have you all in the Xander Zone. Gotta love that obscure reference. If you know it, put it in the comments below. And hit that like button so this gets out to more people. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.
We know we amazing, the homeboy salty, been 420 blazing, destroying this track, just boom over raving, he digging the tracks, and we all fucking raving along with the beat, climbing the drugs with the feet, cruise like a miss on a 5 kill streak, shouldn't ever look too bleak, might as well take it all week, running back with the boys, destroying another beat.